SDI-based switcher models. So we think it's going to be a really exciting product. So now I want to talk about Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Now it's been received really well, and so like the 4K model, it's a true digital film camera. It's got a nice low light sensor in 6K, it's EF lens mount, so it works with lots of lenses. You know, the large sensor is just perfect with EF lenses. There's so many Canon lenses around that have EF lens mounts, so it's very common to find great lenses with it. Records to internal cards as well as external USB discs. It's got 3D lookup tables. It includes Blackmagic RAW and Generation 4 color science. It's got a wonderful film gamma, supports ProRes recording. It's got Blackmagic OS. It's got a really big screen for a handheld camera. A lot of handheld cameras have tiny screens, but this is a big screen. Makes it really easy to focus. And there's tons of focus assist features. You know, false color, histogram, zebra, frame guides, focus peaking, you know, just lots of stuff. Plus the HDMI monitoring output includes overlays for film sets. You can set up like on-set monitoring, but it also includes the studio camera features that we been using with A2 Mini here. So it's really a production camera and a studio camera in the one design. Very easy to use, very high quality, and it's getting used on some really high-end work, and kind of like what we hoped it would. So what does that mean? Well, you know, it's doing high-end digital film really well, and it's being rigged and used on high-end film projects. So we really started thinking about that and started thinking about a model that might have more features. So we were thinking, could we put some of the features from the Ursa Mini Pro into the pocket camera design? And we've managed to do that. And so today we have a new model. It's a third camera in the range, and so I'll come across and I'll show you. The new model is called Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, but it's actually a whole new design. It's slightly bigger and because it's got a lot of new features included. So I'll bring one out and you can have a look and you can see for yourself. So here it is here. So you can see I'll put it beside the other cameras. So you can see from a design point of view, it's very similar. It has similar controls, so it's very familiar to use. But you know, because it's a member of the Pocket Cinema Camera family, and you can see how it fits in there. So I can show you the front. You can see it's really similar. If you can get a close-up of that, and you can see how that looks. It's also very similar on the rear side. It has the same, I'll turn it around there. It's got the same amazing 6K sensor. However, we've actually upgraded it to Generation 5 color science from the 12K camera. So it produces some amazing cinematic images. So I think the first thing you can really notice there is it's got a new LCD screen. It's a high brightness HDR screen. It also tilts up and down. So if I turn the camera on, I'll get the screen up, and you can see really how bright that screen is. And so it's great for outdoor shooting, and I can tilt it up and I can tilt it down. So you see there it is there, it tilts. So you've got a lot of control there. So if I tilt it down, you can shoot high up. You can hold it up high and shoot high up, and if I'm tilted down, I can shoot really low and get a nice sort of low view, you know. Also, tilting is great for the menus. It helps to give you better access to the menus there. So you can see, and you can change the menus. So it's quite nice. So we've also, the other thing we've done is we've upgraded the battery, and now it's using an NPF 570 Sony style battery. Now it supports a lot longer battery life, which I think is important when you're recording the external discs. You know, when you're running external discs, the camera powers the disc, so having more power really helps. So let me show you the battery in the bottom here. So it's the same type of battery door. There it is there, so it's a larger battery. There it is there, it'll power back up. So now what's the other exciting feature of this is the, turn it back off, back on again, turned itself off. So what's also really nice is this new model has built-in ND filters. Now they're actually motor driven, so they are a little different to the Ursa Mini Pro ND filters. And if you look at the back here, we've got ND motor, the filter controls here. So let me remove the lens. You can actually see them working if I take the lens off. So I'll do that. I always get nervous taking lenses off. So if you get a close-up there, you can see into the front of the camera. Is that, maybe I'll point to the camera there and you can see it. So now I can change the filters and you can see them move. You got that? And you can see them change. So there's two filters in there changing in, and they both work together. And there's also an indication on the rear. So let me put the lens back on. Oops. All right. So if I go around the back here, you can see the ND filters changing. Again, if you can get a shot of that. There's the ND filters there. And you can see there's actually also a status on the LCD to show you what filters are applied. So I think it's much more flexible. I'll turn the filters off. It's fun, I could actually just sit here doing this all day. So it's great, of course, having the ND filters built in because it's much more portable solution. This is a portable camera, but it gives you total control of the shutter angle when you're in bright conditions because you can just pull those ND filters in, cut down the light. Now there's also support for an optional electronic viewfinder. So there's a separate viewfinder that you can purchase and add to the camera if you need it. It's called the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera Pro EVF, and it bolts right on top of the camera, right there. So let's have a look. I'll show you the EVF. I'll bring it out. You can see it's super tiny there. So you can see there it is there. I can get a shot of that. There it is there, and you can see the underside. That's where it plugs into the camera. And you can see the lens there, and so I've got a really nice glass lens. Yeah, it's a professional viewfinder with a glass lens. You know, most viewfinders are just plastic, and you know, especially for portable cameras, and they scratch easy. They don't look really clear. This is a glass lens. It's very accurate. The focus, it's really clean and very clear. In fact, underneath, there's a focus adjustment on the bottom there, so you can adjust it. Now, because it's a professional viewfinder, we've actually also got eyepieces that are included with it. I'll bring them out. There's 4 eyepieces in total. So you've actually got some options. So you've got an eyepiece that's actually installed on it. Then there's a slightly larger version of that. Then there's also a very large one that's left and right-eyed. So you've got a few different options there. So I'll line them up there. And they come with it. So you don't have to buy them separately. Now the viewfinder is really easy to install. You just unscrew the cover on the top of the camera and then you can install it on top. So let me show you that. I'll unscrew the cover on the camera. Got a screwdriver here. We'll take that off. There's the cover there. I'll just show you quickly. It's just a plastic cover, just covers over the hole. And now you'll see there's a space on the top of the camera. If you can get a shot of that, you can see where the viewfinder plugs in. So all I need to do is plug the viewfinder in. Probably should turn the camera off when I do this. And I'll tilt it up. There it is. I can tighten it down. Just finger tighten it. And there it is, it's installed on the camera. A shot there. Now it tilts up and down like I was just doing to install it. So you can see you've got a huge range. So you can imagine with a nice big eyepiece on there, you know, how nice that looks. Now the focus adjustment is under there. And if I turn the camera around, you can see, I can get a shot of that with the focus adjustment. You can see the lens move when I adjust the focus. Can you see that? So there it is there. So that's under there. Now there's a focus pattern built in to the camera to allow you to get really accurate focus. So you just go into the monitor menu and you can access the focus chart from there. It's a really bright OLED display, so the sensor will, it's got a sensor on the back, so it turns the OLED on and off when you're not using it. And the main LCD will also turn off when you're using the viewfinder to save power. And you can see you can change the viewfinders, the eyepieces out. I'm actually left-eyed, so I like the left eye eyepiece. And so it's a real professional solution. Now, if we look at the side of the camera, you can see we still have the SD card slots on the side. So we've got them there, so you can open up the card slots. So you've got the same media that the other card, that the other models use. And we also have on the side connections here, so you can get a bit of a close-up of that. We've also got the very similar connections on the side. We still have the HDMI output for monitoring. We've got the USB for recording to external flash disks. We've got the headphone connector. We've also got the video type mic input connector, but we now have an extra XLR connector. So you can plug in 2 separate microphones, and they're both phantom powered, or you can of course plug in from professional audio gear. You can actually plug stereo XLR sources now. And then, you know, as far as phantom power goes, the new battery's got lots of power for the battery. Now the other thing we've got is we have a new battery grip. You know, if you're doing very long shoots, you really want it to, you know, it's nice to have a battery grip. It's called the Blackmagic Pocket Camera Pro Grip. Sorry, the Blackmagic Pocket Camera Battery Pro Grip. I always get that wrong for some reason. I've got some neural damage that's causing issues with the name. Now it holds 2 extra batteries, but it's a little different. It supports the same large batteries that the camera uses, so those newer type batteries, and it bolts onto the bottom of the camera. So here it is there, you can see, and it's a bit different. It doesn't displace the internal battery. So there it is there. So what you can do is is installed on the bottom of the camera and it won't display. So you're adding 2 extra batteries and you keep the battery in the camera. So I think this is a better design. Now, if you see the top of it, how it does that, it's got these power pins there, and that's how that talks to the camera. So there's a spot on the battery tray also to support. There's a cover on the bottom of the camera there, which I'll unscrew. And what that gives you is access to the power pins on the bottom of the camera. And if you see if you can get a close up of that. Now there's actually a spot on the battery tray to store that little cover I just took off, so you don't lose it. And then if you take the battery grip off, you can then reinstall that on the bottom. So let's put the battery grip on and you can have a look. So basically just mount it down like that and spin the screw, and there it is. It's all on the camera. Turn the camera back on. So now I'm running 3 batteries in the camera. So it's a monster when you've got that installed. Look at that. And the battery tray slides out, so you can slide the batteries out and you can change them. And the camera still runs, it won't turn off. So, and you can uninstall it by just running the screw thread back out again. And then you can take it off. So you can really just add it and take it off as you go. You know, it's really nice. And so that's the battery grip. So the new Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro we priced at $2,495, and it's in stock and it's available now. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera Pro EVF will be priced at $495, and that's also available now and it's in stock. And the Blackmagic Pocket Camera Battery Pro Grip is priced at $145, and that's also available now. Now the battery grip is sold without the batteries because these, NP F570 batteries, you can get them anywhere, so you can source those yourself. So we think the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro is a really great addition to the family. You can see we have 3 great cameras depending on the kind of work you're doing. They're all professional digital film cameras. They can be used for all kinds of work, and they're very, very portable. So they're amazing. So one last thing we have just before we go, we also have a software update that's due. It's not quite ready yet, but it's coming soon. So what we're doing is, one of the things I didn't show you on the back is we have new software for the 4K and the 6K Pocket Cinema cameras. Now all the cameras get a new RGB histogram. So the current luminance only histogram doesn't always show you clipped images. If you clip in a single color, sometimes you can't tell because it's not clipping in the luminance. So the new RGB histogram fixes that. And so that's really nice. So if I turn on the 4K camera here, you can see, we'll get a bit of a close-up. You can see that's the RGB histogram there, and I've probably not got a lot of really good things to point it at that's going to show you that working properly, but you can see it there. I'll just stop moving the camera around so you can kind of see it. Let me get a good view of that there. So that RGB histogram is much nicer, and there it is on the 4K model, and all the models will get that new histogram when the software update goes out. So I'll place it back in line there. So that's really nice. Plus the other great thing is we're upgrading all the color science in all the models. So both the 4K and the 6K models will get the new Generation 5 color science. So all the models will have the latest color science from actually the 12K camera research that we've been doing. So it's really exciting. Now that software update will be free. It supports the Blackmagic Pocket Camera 4K, the 6K, and it'll upgrade the new 6K Pro as well. It's called Camera Update 7.3, and it'll be available in about a month or so. So we're still doing a lot of debugging. Obviously with COVID, it's a bit tough to get things through QA because everyone's everywhere. Every 5 minutes there's some other breakout. So we're working as hard as we can to get that out the door, and that'll be a free update. So that's about all we have.